Hey, what's up, guys? It's your girl Kia, and I am back for another video. So listen, let's have a quick conversation about Jesse Ridgway. Really quick though, if you notice, I do not have my usual wonderful, beautiful background. That is because we did some renovations, we moved some things around. I am now in the guest room, which is now my office space, and it's just not a cool background yet. I'm working on it, so you get this wonderful AI background for right now. But let's jump right in. So recently, a YouTuber and social media influencer named Jesse Ridgway announced that they had terminated their pregnancy, which is fine. I mean, I am pro-choice. I totally get it. But then when I started hearing the background information on why they terminated their pregnancy, I was a little blown away. As most of you guys know who've watched my channel for a while, if you're a new subscriber, I'm a special needs parent. My son has mosaic Down syndrome. I'm also a stepmother again. Most of you guys know that. So I chose to be his mom. I've been raising him since he was 9 years old, and it has had its wonderful joys, amazing joys, and it has had me balled up in a corner hysterically crying. It really has. I went into the situation with my eyes wide open, knowing what I was getting myself into. So, ta-da, here I am. So I have a very unique perspective on the situation, just like I had the unique perspective when it came to Micah. If you guys remember the story of Micah, the nurse, when her and her husband adopted a child from China, brought him home. He had special needs that they thought they could handle, that they told everybody they could handle. And it didn't work out, and they rehomed him. And Micah has not been seen since. I think she's just a regular mom at this point. I don't think she does anything social media related. I don't even think her Instagram is active again. So the one part that's getting left out of the story is that they had an original statement they made before they terminated. So let's go through that original statement, and then we will go through the second statement, because the second statement is really what caught people off guard, and there is some misinformation in that statement. I'll also give you guys my really unique perspective on why I think this actually happened, and I don't think it had anything to do with special needs. So here we go. So this is the original statement. And here we go. So we were so excited to celebrate the gender reveal and a psycho video, because that's the name of his channel, like Psycho Dad, and a psycho video with you guys. But in the true art imitates life fashion, there had to be a dark twist. The same genetic testing that told us our baby would be a boy revealed to us that he had a 95% chance to be born with Down syndrome. You saw a pretty raw reaction from Ashley Renee, that's his wife, or Ashley, I don't know, have heard the whole thing is. And as we both were rocked by the results, still processing to this day. We couldn't be more grateful for all the support we received over the past week. It is an extremely touchy subject. Down syndrome carries a very high risk of miscarriage and usually comes with heart defects, structural abnormalities, developmental issues, shortened lifespan, etc. As excited as we are to become parents, this was a gut punch. We want the best for our first child, and putting Ashley at risk, so many questions and concerns. To make matters more complicated, the company that issues the genetic testing, called Natera, has recently lost a lawsuit to the tune of millions for misleading patients with an inaccurate test results, namely false positive. I wholeheartedly believe that this is one of the situations. The Down syndrome position is a fluke. Down syndrome percentage is a fluke, and our baby boy will be born with zero health problems. We will be getting an amniocentesis in around a month to give us a better answer on the baby's health. Until then, we will just be keeping the faith, and everything will work out okay. Thanks for being with us on this side. Whatever happens, happens. So she's about 12 weeks, apparently, 10 to 12 weeks when this has happened. She's already out of, you know, termination. She's out of that stage. They don't do that I don't think there's very few reasons why they would do it at that age, unless, the mother's life is at risk. And this day and age, they still wouldn't do it then as well. So this is just a very interesting statement. I get the fear of having a special needs child, the concern with the health issues, all of this makes sense. So fast forward a month, and they put out the next statement. And I'm not going to read all of it. I'm just going to read some important things. This week, my wife and I made the very difficult decision to terminate the pregnancy due to trisomy 21. Trisomy 21 is the real name for Down syndrome. So there's trisomy 21, trisomy 13, and trisomy 18. Each have different severity levels. Trisomy 21, also known as Down syndrome, is caused by an extra chromosome. It is caused by an error in cell division, like a glitch. The odds of having a baby, of a baby having it is 1 in 1,000. I'm just going to flip forward. Because this is a very long statement. When I first confronted this news, I was shocked by it, but optimistic. If they're a little slow intellectually, then we'll make it work. I signed on to be a parent, come what may. No, you didn't. But I just didn't fully understand what Down syndrome entailed. Once we made it public, it became clear that most people don't know what Down syndrome entails and know it's not the same as autism. Nobody knows, nobody thinks that. Nobody thinks that autism and Down syndrome are the same thing. Maybe you did because you guys sound slow, but everybody who has a high school degree understands that the autism spectrum, excuse me, and Down syndrome are two completely different things. 50% of babies with DS have heart defects, 75% with hearing issues. Over 50% will have vision problems, impaired immune function, developmental disabilities, learning disabilities, delayed physical development, poor muscle tone, structural issues with faith. Not sure what that was even brought up. Decreased lifespan. Sadly, the list is long. Feel free to look it up. Down syndrome isn't a blessing. It is objectively shitty from a health perspective. That whole statement to say is wild. Down syndrome in 2026 is not like when it got diagnosed in kids back in the 80s, back in the 70s. It is a completely different situation. Yes, they do have shorter lifespans. They do. You probably won't see somebody with Down syndrome over the age of 60, maybe 50. But between when they're born and to that point, they have very fulfilling lives. A lot of them live independently. We see a lot of them are actors. One of them's a very successful model. They're influencers. Like I said, some live independently, some get married, and they have lives of their own. It's not just, oh, they're just going to be trapped in my house forever, living the life of a 5-year-old child forever and ever. And that's if you put the effort into it, if you actually want to be a parent. You have to want to put that effort in. So him saying that Down syndrome isn't a blessing, him saying that Down syndrome isn't a blessing is just to me a really, really wild thing to say. He goes on to say, I didn't realize just how rough it is for the child, let alone the family. More often than not, they will be fully dependent on others for the rest of their lives. That is true. They will be fully dependent on others, but that varies from thing to thing. Will they be able to drive in a lot of cases? No, they won't be able to get a driver's license. I don't think. I've never seen a Down syndrome person get a driver's license. But there's public transportation. They know how to take cabs, use public transportation, use Uber. In my city, they have something called Lake Connection where wherever they need to go, because my son starts an internship in August and he will have Lake Connection that'll come to the house, pick him up, and take him to his job. So he will live with us cool, but he can do everything else. All I have to do is provide a roof over his head. Everything else he'll be able to take care of. He's been able to take care of. Okay, the miscarriage risk is also close to 50%, which made matters worse. They may never see the light of day, and that puts Ashley at further risk. We spoke with doctors, friends, and family, and genetic counselors learned that up to 90% of women terminate their pregnancy after learning the baby has trisomy 21. That is not an accurate number. It is not 90%. It is actually 65% of women terminate their pregnancy after they find out that their child has Down syndrome. This was way higher than I expected. I thought it would be lower given that I hear so many say they would keep or would have kept the baby. I believe that's because most terminations happen privately. It feels shameful and a lot of judgment being cast. That's not how that statistic works. It's not a self-report situation. What happens is when you go to terminate your pregnancy, they have a medical history of what's happened, of you coming in and saying, I'm pregnant, you coming in for your next appointment, your first appointment for testing, your glucose test, and then you coming in and finding that this certain diagnosis, whether it's trisomy 18, 13, or 21, and then the next record is that you decided to terminate the pregnancy. That's how that stat is collected. It's not because you told people or self-reported or told a doctor or whatever. That's not how it's collected. So him saying that people feel shame and so people don't report, it makes me wonder, are these people educated? I mean, are they talking to real doctors? Are they talking to Dr. Google? Are they talking to Dr. like Spock? I don't know. Are they talking to Dr. Cheyenne Bryant? Because none of this really seems accurate. Let's go down some more. To all of my fans who have weighed in on this topic, who have autism, Down syndrome, or any other condition, we appreciate you. You matter a lot, and we're glad you're here. I commend you and your family for having the strength and courage to push forward. I'm going to enter a line here because I don't want to. I don't want to push forward. I don't want it to be hard. As for us, we made the difficult decision that we believe in the long run will be beneficial for our family. Thankfully, we had a choice. Mm-hmm. It keeps jumping. But that's basically the end of the statement. So here's the reality of it. They wanted their first baby to be the cute social media baby, the cute Instagram baby that they can make money off of. The same thing with Michael Stafford is what their last name is. They wanted to adopt this cute baby from China, even though they didn't speak Cantonese, even though they didn't speak in the language, they didn't speak any of that. They just wanted to bring this cute Chinese baby over to America and show him off to social media and have them look like the great adoptive parents. And when they realized it wasn't going to give them the picture perfect life that everybody can envy on social media, they tried to rehome him. And thank God he's in a better place now. I mean, that was 5 years ago, and Mike has never been heard from. But I think it's the same thing with this situation with Jesse and his wife. They're not getting the picture perfect family that everybody can envy online. They were going to get a baby where they were going to actually have to be parents, where they were going to have to work at it. And they didn't want to work at it. They wanted it to be, they wanted their complaints to be like, oh, I'm so tired. Like, oh, I had to be up all night with the baby, or, oh, get ready with me with the baby, or, come with me as I spend the night, as he gets up and down. That's the type of struggle they wanted to show off. They didn't want to show them going to doctor's appointments, them having to possibly work with feeding tubes, giving medication, maybe the fact that if their baby is born, having to stay in the hospital for 3 or 4 weeks. They didn't want to do any of that because that's too hard. And that means you have to be an actual parent and want to do it. Like I said, I chose to be a special needs parent. I walked into the situation with my husband, eyes wide open. And the minute I saw my son, I knew this boy needs me. I know that sounds super creepy, and let me explain to you why. So my husband is Indian, and the whole special needs in the Indian community is not really a thing. Not that they don't believe in it, they just don't want to acknowledge it. Like it's just there's not a lot of education for it. One of these, so I'm sorry, I my daughters came and knocked on the door, so it threw me off track. So where was I? So they don't really believe. It's not they don't believe in it; they just don't have a lot of education on it. So when I got with my husband, I'm seeing this little boy who's not showering himself. He was 9 at the time. He's not showering himself. He's not wiping himself. He's still eating with baby utensils, the whole thing, and he's 9. I understand he's special needs, but he's capable. And I dove right into it. I was like, he needs me. He needs me as someone who understands special needs kids and has been around them before and has compassion and knows there's a ton of resources out there. I'm diving in. I'm going to do this. And I did. I got him signed up for speech therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy, talked to the school, realized that he was doing a lot of things at school that he shouldn't be doing because no one was disciplining him. He was just doing it to do it because no one would say anything. And that's the problem with a lot of the special needs class. They're just babysitters. And I went to the school, I actually got banned from one school because I told them absolutely not. You guys babying him is why he's where he's at right now instead of where he should be. He could have been mainstreamed. If we would have started him earlier, if my husband would have started before me and his birth mother would have started before me, he could have been mainstreamed, graduated from high school, regular, everything. But it was never put in place until 9, and Devin didn't really get a hold of everything until he was 11. But now, after that hard work, now he's again starting an internship at the hospital. He's completely independent, completely independent. I can leave him home at home alone for a couple of hours if I need to go to the gym. I take his little brother and sister. He's like, no, I'm gonna stay home and watch TV. And he's fine. He's able to make meals for himself, do all these things by himself, but it takes actual effort and energy to do it. And if you don't want to do it, I feel sorry for you. I feel, and I think again, that's what these people wanted. They wanted it to be fun and Instagrammable and just look at my cute baby all the time. And that's not what they would have gotten if their child would have been born with Down syndrome. And there's no guarantee, even with the blood, there's no guarantee what type of Down syndrome their child could have had. They could have gotten a child who was super duper high functioning, or they could have gotten a child where it would have been a lot harder. You never know. But you again, you terminated the pregnancy. So you'll never know. You wanted it easy for you. And now you are freaked out by the fact that you have people who are threatening your life and giving you death threats. And don't get me wrong, I don't think anybody should be getting death threats for anything. That is insane to be sending people death threats. But what really confuses me is that they're surprised that people have some kind of emotion about this. You didn't terminate your pregnancy because a child was going to have some debilitating disease like trisomy 18. Those babies don't survive past a year old. They are born in severe pain. Or something like Tay-Sachs or something severe. You terminated your pregnancy because of Down syndrome, which is a wide range of things like autism. It could be anything. Yes, they could have had eye issues. A lot of Down syndrome kids have eye issues, but they're giving glasses as little babies to strengthen their eyes up. They're not. blind or anything like that. You know, it could have been it could have been anything. Yes, yes, they do have it could have been a wide variety of things. This is one of those days where I am getting interrupted for every second of my video, but that's okay. It could have been a wide variety of things, and you didn't know, and instead of figuring it out and really going and being parents and trying to make it work and just loving the fact that you were giving a blessing of a child, you decided it's just going to be too hard, and we don't want it to be hard. We want to keep our social media life. We want to be able to keep our brand deals. We want to be able to have more people want to watch us more. And if we have a special needs child, why would anybody want to watch struggle? Why would anybody want to watch frustration? All they want to watch is happiness and joy. So I don't think death threat. The other thing is the fact that you were 4 months pregnant doing this. Again, like I said, I am pro-choice, but I'm pro-choice 12 weeks or under. Anything after that, that is your baby. That is a baby. That is a child. And people can disagree with me on this. I'm fine with that, but that's just my perspective. Anything after that is ridiculous to terminate a pregnancy. Like you shouldn't do stuff like that. That's just it's nuts to me. So I hope they stop getting death threats, but they're gonna have to toughen up when they make decisions like this. Some people were saying, why did they put it on social media? And that's another thing. I don't, they could have just said that they had a miscarriage or they lost the baby or something like that. They chose to say, we terminated because of this reason. So you put this out there. I mean, and I don't blame them for wanting to put out that they got that diagnosis. That's their choice. But it would have been a lot more admirable if they put it out there and then said, hey, it's been proven that we're going to have it and we're pushing forward. That would have been more admirable and understanding than the way things went down, but maybe I'm wrong. But listen, drop in my comments, let me know your thoughts, let me know how you feel about if you're a special needs parent and how your journey has been. I'm really eager to hear that, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.